Hello, welcome to another special edition of Kakapa, Rona. I go by the name Arun Hashem, but you can simply call me Overdose. Welcome to this special edition because we're here in Polokwane, right here in the Limpopo province, Eden of Africa, baby. We're here to see a man at a place called Venda. That's where we at, and we're gonna speak to this man. I'm so excited to speak to him. Why not just stay there, sit down, enjoy yourself, and get yourself the wisdoms of this world, man. Let's go! Let's go!
This show is proudly brought to you by Jabu Archer.
Thank you so much for joining me once again. And of course, like I said in the beginning, that I'm here to see Kakapa Rona right here in Polokwane, and I'm here at his house, man. I'm super excited, to be speaking to this man. We've been talking for too long on the phone, talking about the thing of coming together and just have these simple conversations, because I would like you to understand who this man is. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on Kakapa Rona today. Phuti Seloba. Rona.
Yeah.
I'm super excited that I'm sitting here with you, and today we're going to have conversations.
No, you're welcome.
And I'm hoping that we will get to understand who you are, and people at home, they'll be inspired so much. I think young people will learn a lot about, a person like you. I know that most people might never know you that much, but I know that a lot of people know you.
Quite a lot.
Yes. Yeah. So, you're still in the ANC?
I'm still in the ANC.
And member?
In actual fact, I'm a member of
yes.
Makwena Matala branch, Swat 43 in Polokwane.
Oh, okay.
In good standing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I can actually even confirm that I'm one of the people nominated for the provincial legislature now.
Oh, yeah.
For 2024.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful. I'm hoping that you're gonna be in that cabinet, and please, when you're in that parliament, don't forget Kakapa Rona. Just because we always look, at you, that hopefully, these people, they should just do something for us. I mean, don't you think that what we do on Kakapa Rona, it's outstanding that we get to bring people of the people to the people?
Yeah, in actual fact, I'm happy because it's through this type of platforms that people tend to understand certain things. And when you watch some episodes, for example, you are able to pick something.
Yes.
Some people come from where one come from.
Yeah.
And he never thought you, for example, when you grow up in this dusty streets of an unknown village.
Yes.
You'll never think at some point you will find yourself at an international platform talking to people in other countries.
That's so true.
Recently, one was chairing the Under 40 Summit.
Yes.
Business summit. We had 40 young people. And all people under 40 doing quite a lot in all the African countries, converged in Pretoria at the Freedom Park. And you'll never, as you grow up, you'll never think that some of these things are possible.
Will ever be possible for you.
Once somebody realized that, this is my homeboy, this is the guy who grew up with.
They get to be inspired.
You get a motivation. You then realize that some of the things that we thought were impossible, were actually difficult, not necessarily impossible.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to go through
difficulties,
those difficulties.
Yes.
And you see, that's why other people will tell you that when you get into the storm, chances are that when you get out of the storm, you get out being a better and a stronger person. So some people think because we're going to bed without anything to eat, some people will think their children will inherit those things. As a child, you think, Auntie, you have an opportunity. You know, when we talk to young people who are doing matric, we sometimes say, once you get that certificate, when that certificate enter your home, if there was poverty, it will get out through the back door or through the window. So it's very important. You capacitate yourself. Once you are capacitated, you can compete at all levels. So we don't have to trap ourselves, you know. There are some people who teaches us that you know, you can't. I mean, I come from a village where in my whole family, I think I was the first person to appear on TV telling people something. You know, I think I was the first person to go on radio.
And people were shocked.
Yes. In fact, I started doing radio interviews when I was a student. You know, and it was during the dark days of apartheid, but towards the end.
And we're still going to come to the whole lot of those things. I know there's still a lot. We're going to learn a lot today. Like, for instance, some of us were not politically, you know, we are not involved in politics or anything. We don't even understand some of these things about politics. But we're still going to come to the whole lot of those things. But for now, I would like to know about your upbringing. Who is Ntate Phuti Seloba and where do you come from and how did you grow?
I was born, I think, more than 50 years ago in a village or in an area called Ramatlala. I grew up in Home School. I did, you know, my sub-A there. In 1976, coincidentally, I started my sub-A. So it was, you know, like after June. I think in that year schools closed for a longer period because of the Soweto uprisings. But you know, it was very interesting that at our level there, we were told there was nothing. We had nice songs like 16th of June, it was a disco. I grew up there. I did my sub-A, my primary education, my lower primary education at a school called Mushi, lower primary. And then I moved to Nkumishi, same village. It's a higher primary. I did my education there. And I went to secondary in the same village. I've never gone outside the village for education until I passed matric. So I did in our days, it was called Form 1 at Mawaneng, senior secondary school in 1983. Right home school.
Okay.
We were not getting out of any village. You know, I come from a village which had 3 schools, lower primary, higher primary, senior secondary, you know. So then I went to Mawaneng until 1987, I did my matric.
Okay.
So in 1988, I went to the University of Venda. At the university, something very interesting, right here in Twendo. There's no border. But you were expected to have a passport. And a study permit. I was a foreign student. You remember the TBV?
Because it was still Venda.
It was the Republic of Venda. I remember the homeland got independence in 1979. So when we went there, we had to apply for a study permit. We used to go to a place here in town. Kona Landros Mare and Grobla, where the Republic of Venda had a consulate. We had to apply. I was a foreign student there. So you can imagine, in 1988, when I arrived there, I was not even allowed to stay in the residence because I was a foreign student. You can imagine. Then you are staying you know, for the first time, like I told you, I did my sub-A in the village until I matriculated.
Yeah.
So the first time I go to Venda and I don't know the language.
Yeah.
Yes. And now you must go and look for a room accommodation. You get into a house, you are the only person who's struggling with the language. You know, and just because you are regarded as a foreign student, I mean, from my home to that university, there is no border.
It's not even far.
There is no border, you know. And then, you know, some of those things, like I will go back a little bit. When I was in the village in 1980.
Yeah.
You remember when Oliver Tambo called on all citizens to make this country ungovernable.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we remember those days, yeah.
So I was a young boy in Standard 3. But you see, people started localizing issues. And then, you know, like you were telling me you are not politically involved.
Yes.
Most of the people are politically involved, but they're just not aware.
They are not aware, yeah.
You know, in my village, I think there was an issue about the clinic, and we started rising up to say, we contributed, where's the clinic? Go home school. Then we started those things. When we went to the high school, then it became very clear. I was one person who was very active in the debate.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
that's cool.
At university, you
oh, yeah. I mean, like, let's go back a little bit because I would like to understand the village life. Back at the village, like how much were you involved in anything? Like in as kids are growing, you see, there's this type of thing where when kids are growing, you can tell when a person is special from that particular moment. What's one thing that you can say, this one, it's something that has shown what type of person was I gonna be, or what type of a leader I was born to be?
Look, I grew up there. Let me start by telling you where I come from. I grew up in a family in a family comprised of 3 families.
Okay.
You know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my dad is last born.
Oh, yeah.
So his brother was still staying.
Oh,
Guy.
Hey.
And then his sister was still staying Guy.
Yeah.
So we're actually 3 families.
Oh, yeah.
So these issues of having communal life, you started in that cell.
Oh, yeah.
And begin to understand that your cousin's life is more important than any, as important as yours.
Yeah.
You started learning the whole issues of sharing.
Of sharing,
but
interacting.
Yeah. But Kai, we didn't have any crawl, but I was looking after the cattle
of other families.
And it taught us quite a lot.
Oh, yeah.
In the bush there the whole day. There were a lot of other games that we were doing. There were a lot of other activities. Like you will compete in terms of who is going home to eat. You know, like we'll go in groups. Yeah. The first group go and eat, come back and relieve the other one to go back home and eat. So, you know, you'll find that unaware you are contributing in providing leadership. To say, no, your group went yesterday. Yeah. It can't go back today. You can't always be number one. We need to rotate for that spot. Then you start unaware. You start coming with such informal structures.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and then within the same village, because I started as you know, most young fellows, young guys in the villages, almost all of us played soccer around that time. So I also played soccer. Yeah. So you find yourself captaining your team. Yeah. And I remember our teams were not permanent teams. We'll have a team for Easter holidays. And then when the holidays are done, teams are not there. Teams are no longer and then during June, when the cattle in the camps, you know, after harvesting the mealies, and then we send the cattle to grace in those areas.
Yes.
So you find they are safe. We don't need to be there 24/7 or every minute. So we'll have teams that will play. So around those, you start, unaware of your contribution. When you go to school, you find when we're debating, corporal punishment must be abolished.
Must be.
You start it as a recitation until you begin to understand that they can't do these things.
Yeah.
And at that school, indeed, we had a very strict principal, but we were able in 1985. We were able to say enough is enough. This guy, the school was getting out around 4:30. He could come back to school at 4:25 and start addressing us until 5. So we went to the stage where we said, enough is enough.
Yeah.
You can't treat us like this. We've been here in the morning and we know that we started 7:30 until 4:30. You want to extend it, and then we took action. And many people understood us. We lived in an era where some of the English phrases we know from our teachers will be, when I step in, you step out. Those step over my dead body. Type of. So those things, as you grow, and then you realize through debates that these things are not acceptable. And then when they give you that treatment, you start reacting. I remember one teacher gave me a hot slap in class.
A Varam one.
Yeah. And I have not done anything wrong.
Yeah.
When the teacher gets into class, I was busy cleaning the chalkboard.
Yeah.
So after cleaning the chalkboard, I have to look for the book in my, we're using the trunks, the trommels.
Yeah.
And then as I look up, I got something very hot.
A hot one?
And I had to react there and there. And fortunately, most of the students in the class reacted positively. And we stopped those type of behavior because it was basically not even our job to prepare for them. They had to prepare for themselves.
They had to come and prepare,
But maybe let me take you back. In 1983, when we went to high school, there was this thing of misela, where they will treat you very badly.
Yeah.
Some of us ganged up and said, no, enough is enough. We're brothers. We're brothers.
Yeah.
You can't be treating your brother like this. Because somebody, when you buy bread during break, they will come and fetch it.
Yes.
They will take your belt. They will sometimes
bullying thing.
They will bully you. They will send you to go buy stupid things. And we said, no, in this school.
And
it can't happen.
And we are part of this group of guys who always said, no, but guys, we need to come up with a mechanism, a method to stop all these things.
But we are one. Why do you want to ill-treat me? Is it a sin to pass standard 5 to go to standard 6? Why do I have to get these things? And but at that point, you will not understand that you are contributing. When people ask you about your political involvement, you'll say, no, I'm not a comrade. Then we went to the university. At the university, fortunately, I got one brother of mine from the same village. And then he recruited me into SANSCO.
Okay.
It was not SASCO.
Oh, yeah.
It was SANSCO.
SANSCO, okay.
It was South African National Student Congress.
Oh, yeah.
Before we...
Not SASCO, not...
SASCO is a
remember
product...
organizations like...
SASCO is a product of a merger between SANSCO and NUSAS. Because at tertiary institution, there was NUSAS for the whites. And then there was SANSCO for us. I joined SANSCO, but because it was also a band organization, I joined a young Christian student movement. So we now came. I come from a Christian family. Kohaye, we are members of the ZCC.
Oh, yeah.
So I came from strong Christian background.
Yes.
So when we realized that we can't get involved in other political activity because now Sansco is banned,
Yes.
the ANC is banned, then we came in as Christians.
Yes.
Most people will remember some years back there was a campaign on green t-shirts, unban Jesus, unban the truth.
Yes.
That was our campaign.
Oh,
you know, so we became a Christian activist.
Oh, yeah.
And then it was very difficult for the authorities to go and disrupt prayers.
Oh, yeah.
So during those times, we worked with the Roman Catholic Church, the Father,
Yes.
Father Mukashwa, Bochikani, a lot of...
And at the same time, on the very same organization, that's where you got to now get like a better...
To say, but what I'm busy with now, this is politics.
Yes.
You know, but now you then have structured political activities. It's no longer small localized issues. You know, you can't ill-treat your own people. You can't say, I'm a traditional leader. You ask people to contribute 20 rand each. After a year, you don't tell them how much they contributed. You say this for the clinic, there's no clinic. You know, we can't always do those things. And then we started moving now in a systemized, organized politics at YCS. And then from there, one got elected as a regional coordinator in the Far North. You know, there was Far North, there was the North, which mostly activities were happening at the University of Limpopo.
And which year, around which year was that now?
Now we're talking about 1989, 90.
Oh, yeah. When now they were preparing to release the main
no, they were not preparing.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, many people who go around and say de Klerk has released people. No. The apartheid regime was in a tight spot. You know. You can't, when you are put next to the door and given the key, to turn the key, you can't claim that you are the one who opened the door.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So there was no preparation there. The pressure was mounting.
Yeah, it was too much on them.
You know, and they started, if you remember, they started releasing the 8. Wilton Mkwai, Walter Su.
Yeah, I remember.
And then we recruited, we went to plead with Walter Su to become our chancellor at the University of Venda. And then he was a chancellor there. When he came there, he brought, you know, Ahmed Kathrada, Oliver Tambo, when we were installing in 1992, when he was to be installed. He came with those comrades. I remember we had a nice evening reflecting, you know, now you are in a company of those powerful leaders. You are now reflecting on serious politics, on serious issues. And we have not reached, remember, 94. We're still, you know, back then, the release of the people, remember, the unbanning of the organizations, actually, in our view, brought more challenges because a lot of other people came and said, oh, you know, I was doing this in my corner. So for us, it was that now that part is delivered. We, much as we were activists, but now we capacitated ourselves. We, you know, when our understanding was that when the ANC take over, they have us, the technocrats. They've got us now with the skills to assist them to run the state. You know, and that has been our belief throughout.
Okay. So now you graduated now at University of Limpopo. What were you of Venda?
I was studying public administration.
Okay.
And you see, one interesting thing, there were no programs for media studies at most of such universities. But because one is studying public administration, but at the same time you're practicing, because as the secretary of the branch and eventually the secretary of the SRC, every time when there is a strike, you have to give answers. The media will flock the university, and you are the center there.
Oh yeah, they want to talk to you when they come there, when there's conference.
Yeah, then you must explain. You know, sometimes there will be pressure. You know, you have solidarity strikes. Like University of Limpopo is demanding something, and then we are here, neighboring universities who say, no, we must also embark on an action so that our council members must put pressure on the council of the University of Limpopo. So you then realize that at some point you have coordinated efforts, and you had, you know, in the area where we were operating. I remember there was a radio Venda, which is part of the SRC, and there was Radio Twendo, which was part of government.
Okay.
So you will always struggle, because people will come and say, hey, but you don't have problems here. Why are you adopting problems? And people will not understand that now we are brothers and sisters. We can't fold our arms and say it is their problem. Because I might be a student at the University of Venda, but I've got a brother or a sister who's studying at the University of Limpopo. If they are going to be subjected to inhuman activities, we will embark on such actions. You know, Vista Mamelodi, they will have challenges. Will all of us come together and say, let's put pressure. Because if you don't do that, those ones will call the police and they brutalize everybody. And that will be the end. So the problem is not solved, because people are now afraid. The management lost the university and say, come back again, register, commit yourself that you are not going to be involved in anything. So even though you had that it was closer to democracy, the challenges at tertiary institutions were still huge. I think even now we still have students experiencing a lot of challenges at universities and technicals. So that part is not over. And in our understanding, it has always been that the struggle does not have a time frame. You know, we might be in charge of a political arena, but are we in charge of the economy?
Nah.
We get surprised every time they announce the fuel hike. We get surprised every day. Now if you go, the price of tomato is high, the price of potato is high, everything. We are not, you can see that much as we are in control, but we're not in charge.
We're still way too far.
So the struggle continues.
Yes. Aluta. So now, how did you get to the African National Congress?
You know, like I explained, when I went to the university, you know, a young man coming from the village, not knowing other things that we have done. But when you arrive, you find other people acknowledging certain small things that you have done. And they then said, this brother of mine, Joel, is the one who took me by hand. And we have a Sansco branch here. He was in the NEC then. Was the National Deputy Secretary. Then he introduced me to the branch. And at the branch, through participations, I, you know, through debates at high school and all those things, I had interest in writing. So once politically inducted, one found himself having written some documents on transformation. And then the people started, you know, thinking highly of you. I can tell you, then I got elected as the secretary of the branch. After being elected then we were approaching SRC elections. They say, no, you must go to the SRC to represent us. Now I'm shivering, because it's never something that one would have imagined. And then I wrote, they said we must write manifestos. I submitted, in the history of the university, the shortest manifesto. Ever. And they said, well, but why? I said, no,
you don't have to complicate
we as
things.
leaders, we don't need to promise people. And my manifesto, that one sentence was that, I can only promise to build you a church if you commit to attend. That was my campaign slogan. I didn't promise students that if you fail, we will register you by force. We didn't promise students that catering will be cheap, there will be food or no. Said, I can only promise to build you a church if you commit to attend. Because when you lead people, you need their commitment.
Yes.
It's not about you.
It's not just about you.
You know, last week in one WhatsApp group of the ANC, I asked a question, and many comrades were still debating, even, and I put it on a Sunday. And throughout the whole week, we're still debating. Because I say, much as we criticize the leadership, are we the right followers?
Yes, Rena.
Because Rena, as followers, we must start asking ourselves.
Starts with the man in the mirror.
You know, are we the right followers of these leaders?
Yeah.
Because there might be wrong leaders, yes, or there might be right leaders with wrong followers. So we might be having expectations that they are not aware of. Then it's very important that when you lead people, you don't behave like a purely like a conservative Christian. Don't look back with a lot. But in leadership, you must always look back. These people that I'm leading, are they still following me? Yes. So you can look at, I'm talking about 1991. But here, we're still dealing with the same things about leadership. And one can tell that, not that one will have imposed, but it will be that then people came because they want you to lead them, and they want to tell you what they want. Because that should be the gist about leadership. We shouldn't go to people and say, we will give you 1, 2, 3, 4. No. We can look at our state today. We have got more than 40% of our people are depending on grants. Who's going to pay tax? Because the state needs money.
Because they're only getting, but they're not contributing anything.
In fact, we are condemning them because you are making your people disabled. You know, that is why you have a high dropout rate in schools, because they know once I reach 60, whether I worked or I never worked, I will get my grant. You know, and in between, I'll get my 350. There's nothing wrong with the 350, but it can be a permanent solution.
It can be.
You know, we then need to sit with our people to say, but how do you think we can help you? And then the state should respond to the needs of the people, not the other way around. So in my view, without taking more and venturing more into your...
No, we still have a couple of minutes. I'll tell you. I'm sure around 20 minutes or so.
I think we need, as leaders, you know, and one will say, when I left where I left, and when I left the institution, I had a short stint at a bank. You know, at First National Bank, at Bank City there in Johannesburg. You know, and you could see, when you are a leader, sometimes you can change certain things in a short while. Because I remember, as a graduate, I had a supervisor who I think was a Form 3 graduate. You know, and sometimes this person has been there, you learn certain things, but you don't have to digest everything. Then there are certain things I learned, and I remember some point I corrected her.
Oh, yeah.
And some of the staff members were surprised. Say, Emre,
When, how do you come up with such
and then
solutions?
she ended up listening to you.
Yeah.
And some people went to ask her, and she said, but the problem with this guy is when he's angry, he speak very deep English.
Yeah.
And I don't even understand. So my solution is not to make him angry.
Yeah.
But it benefited a lot of people without coming through the union. You know, because sometimes you'll think you're knocking off, you'll think you're weekend off, and somebody will say, no, I need you here on Saturday. So transformation now needs people themselves.
Yes.
Because unlike before, because you know that South Africa were about 30-something million, but the people who were active were less than 1 million.
Yes.
But now you need to turn the tables. People who need transformation and participate in transformation must be more.
Yes.
Because it is theirs.
It is their power.
Because, you know, as historians, we are told that there must be a difference between transformation and reformation. Reformation means, as a leader, I bring changes and you consume them.
Oh, yeah.
But in transformation, you, as the people, you guide the leaders in terms of what you want. It's also part of the National Development Plan that we need active citizens. Do we have them?
We don't have.
We
don't have people who, because a lot of people, like I said in the beginning when I said that I'm not in politics, or maybe I don't understand politics. Maybe reason because I'm one of those who are not very there.
No, let me tell you. A person with a capacity to understand that he is not involved in politics. He is in politics. He's just not aware. You know, let me tell you, politics today, you might be active at school where your kid is schooling.
Yeah.
Through SGB. And you then don't think it's politics.
Oh, yeah. You only think that you're there.
You might be active at the civic when there is no water, you are able to phone somebody, you know, the councillor to say, but Mzala, what is happening? So, because now there is no government that we want to overthrow. We no longer have discrimination as a broad problem. We no longer have your Group Areas Act where people can live in different places. Now, what we are facing is us becoming honest with ourselves and say, am I going to leave this situation? Because you wake up in the morning, there's no water. You go and you try to plug your borehole. There is no electricity. So, and you say everybody must be quiet. We mustn't ask people. As leaders, we must be bored when our followers are not traveling us. And we must keep on calling them.
And instead, some leaders are enjoying that because they go like,
they're not leaders.
Yes, I mean, like, we do have, like, I would like to understand that there will be such people who just like it that way, that we don't even have people complaining to us. So what? So I need to get into this thing. You served in the national, in the provincial government, right? And as a spokesperson of the province. How did you get to that? Because that's the main.
Yeah, you see, when I was at the bank there in Johannesburg, there was a problem in a place called Sintumule there.
Oh, yeah.
The people there didn't want to go and vote. And then there was a position advertised.
Yeah.
You know, strangely enough, that position needed somebody who's versatile in politics and who speaks and can write Venda.
Yeah.
So with the hardships that we're subjected to in Venda there, I mean, you're in a family here, they speak Venda, you don't know anything.
You had to
I had to adapt.
Yeah.
I speak Venda fluently. and I can read it, I can write it. So, and for that interview, they wanted somebody, and we went with other people from the same area, which Venda was their mother tongue, but I came tops. And then it was a national, you know, it was, the department was called the South African Communication Services.
Yes.
The South African Communication Services was transformed. You know, during apartheid, there was the Bureau for Information.
Yeah.
Then it was in the democratic South Africa, it was called South African Communication Services. Then I got in there as a communication officer, very entry level. After 2 years, I then got a job as a spokesperson for the Department of Water Affairs in the province.
Oh, in the province.
Yeah. And in fact, I started as a communications officer. And communication officers at the provinces, in terms of the water affairs structure, were not allowed to speak to the media. But strangely enough, I was allowed
to speak to the media.
Yes. And even the minister could send me on assignments. Like I remember Melin Gaiden wanted to do a water story in Gauteng, in Skokon. The minister called and said, please, man, go and deal with that problem. Melin Gaiden is on site, respond to them. Then I was given that.
And who was minister at that time?
I started with Professor Kader Asmal.
Okay.
And then later on, I worked with Rona casseroles.
Oh.
You know.
The Kakapa.
Yes. So, and with Asmal, to tell you the honest fact, one learned a lot. Because he calls you, you are in Polokwane, he calls you at 8, he wants to see you at 11 in Pretoria, Skuman Street.
Yeah.
Everything you present to him, he will ask you, fine, this is a good presentation.
Yeah.
Where is your plan B?
For
everything.
What's next? Yeah.
No, you know, we opened the Sintumile Kutama project with him.
Yeah.
We opened Injaga Dam, right in close to Nelspruit. When you present everything to him, he asks for plan B.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't want you to be surprised. Yes. But because we were, some of us around that time were working very hard. I remember I was asked to go and lead a team in Ladysmith. The people in Ladysmith used to experience floods every year. I was part of that team that worked there, coming from Limpopo. And then at Water Affairs, I moved to the Department of Agriculture in the province as a media liaison officer for Dr. Aaron Mutsalet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We're still good friends. In fact, we are neighbors.
He stays here?
Yeah, he stays here in Bendo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
He stays here in Bendo. So I worked with him for about roughly 2 years. Then I was headhunted, in fact, to the Department of Health and Welfare then. And the MEC was Silomlot, the current ambassador of South Africa to Sweden. Yeah. Is also still very good. He's also my neighbor. He stays here too.
He stays here as well?
Yeah, he stays here. So
hey, this is a good neighborhood, ne?
Yeah. I then joined the Department of Health.
Okay.
And then when Silomlot was there, and then later on, when he became the premier, Seaparo Squati came in. So then at the end of the term, when Seaparo left, I remained there. And, you know, if you look, at the calculation, I joined health in June 2003. So it was my longest department that I served, more than 10 years, because I only left the department in 2013 to join. In fact, I was asked by Memagas when the new government came under Matawata. I went to Memagas, was taken from health to education, which had problems then. And then she called me, I remember, on a Sunday, that, I need you there. I told I can't do anything. Then I had to start the process of joining her in July 2013. So my long service at health ended in 2013 when we went to education. But unfortunately, as I was going to the Department of Education, the same week I was finalizing my things at health, then I get a call from the Office of the Premier to say, Emran, we need you here. You see, because I was a director, but at the level of a chief director. You know, at some point, I got a job at Coxstar. And then squad countered. It was a chief director's post, so I was at the level of a chief director. So, and they said, no. I said, but we are here for 9 months. And they said, no, we can't wait for that 9 months of yours. You know, so it's August 2013. Then I'm under pressure to go to the Office of the Premier. But then once we were done with elections, then in 2014, I joined the Office of the Premier. But I need to emphasize that when I was at health, I wasn't only a head of communication and a spokesperson. I learned quite a lot there. I at some point I was the head of IT. You know. Wow. And I implemented one of the largest projects in the country, the biggest, 400 and something million of a project that I implemented. You know, provincial health information system. And I've done that, you know, before I went, I was given that project. The department itself sent me to Thailand, Malaysia, and the Philippines to do project management. Wow. Immediately when I came back, I found that project was stuck. Then you just took over and I completed that project. And every stage of it was audited. I remember when the new chiefs came, the new MEC came, they had a plan that, no, this guy cannot implement a 400 and something million project and not eat anything. Let's investigate him. They investigated me. Nothing was found.
Nothing was found.
Yes. So it then shows that even our leaders still believe that you must be corrupt. And which is very much unfortunate. And I can tell you I was very excited. They hired 2 forensic investigating companies. They tried to concoct things, but they couldn't succeed.
They couldn't find anything.
So that was one of the things that I then learned, that sometimes when you work hard or you try to work smart, you might offend some of your peers. And unfortunately, some of the people who are supposed to be excited might not be excited.
That's right.
I remember I was flying to Durban. The person who eventually became the MEC at health was very excited to be with me. But once appointed, I met her there at the airport. We were having good time. But once she was appointed, she never wanted to speak to me.
Again?
I don't know what happened.
And we were in good terms.
She was even telling me that if I hear that you are going on radio, I will wait I will not take a bath.
Yeah.
I will wait and listen to your interview because I know I'm gaining a lot. But the same person, get appointed, you go to work, I don't want to see you.
Yeah. And
You know, so in some areas, much as eventually things got normalized, then I left, and then I went to the office of the premier, and even there, we worked very well. But you could sense that there's pressure, you know, from anywhere, because me not like I'm a leader. I will not be worried if you do the wrong things and you are my principal, I will tell you.
Yeah.
So I have that type of a problem. So even when we're talking with the premier, I shouldn't say, I shouldn't be afraid to tell you that, the fallout, we had a fallout, and not from him. Somebody just called me and say, Imran, stop talking about VBS. But it's not me. I'm communicating decisions of the cabinet. I said, but you went beyond that. Ow. Now the next thing, people struggle to get to build a case around you, and they can't.
And that's what they're wishing for.
You know, even today, I can tell you, they wish, but where we are now, they are struggling. They can't respond to anything. They can't, you know. My view is, as comrades, we need to reach a stage where if we don't like each other or no longer want to work with each other, it's better to call one and say, Emzal, I think you can go there, rather than trying to waste resources, trying to trap each other and do a lot of funny things. I can tell you, I mean, it's a lot of money that the state is losing on useless cases that people are concocting. And my view is that we need comrades who will outgrow this thing.
And the very same things that people are doing to each other, or people who are doing things to each other, are people that belong to the same organization.
Same organization. I mean, the fact that, and we need to be very honest. Some of our people, some of us will become enemies to our comrades because we don't want to steal. I don't want, if I decide to sleep, even during the day, I must be able to take a nap. Not that if I hear a car stuck next to my house, I must be jumping fences to thinking that they're here to, no. It's very important that everything we have, we're able to account for it. You know, and if we can do that, I can tell you this thing that our people are becoming disgruntled will change. Because our people are disgruntled because we have poor roads quality. You build a tar road, after small rain, the tar road is washed away.
That's what surprises me.
You know, no, it's because that person was given the project, but he must give somebody a certain amount. You can imagine they give you a 10 million road project. They say we need 3 million. Your profit is 2 point something million.
You're going to end up like forging things.
You are going to compromise the quality. You know, we have a lot of incomplete projects, and that is what angers people, because it does not mean our people are not aware. Our people
they are very much aware.
It's a light delay. Because it's going to somewhere. It's a liar, so.
Hey, I saw it's a liar. No, and it's so true, because it's so. For me, I feel like this is so scary. It's way too out of hand, because if people did that before, okay, let's take an example of if during apartheid white people did same thing, like if they were corrupt somewhere somehow, but they knew how to close their tracks, right? Unlike nowadays, where any person can see. It doesn't need you to be smart or anything. You just see that now things are not are not right. Like when you give an example with roads, like I saw R21 when driving to here. When I drive to at R21, most I drive there mostly. Even R21, I never thought that R21, that big road, the number one South African freeway, can have the roads. I was like, if this one can have this, it means there's a serious problem in this country. A very, very serious one.
And remember, the law forces SANRAL to make sure that that road is of the same quality as the toll road. But because now they use us, we're messing up. You must look here. People are saying they're patching potholes. You know, this above the tar road.
Yes. So it's either maybe they don't qualify, or they just hire people who are not experienced in doing this type of jobs, or it's a question of saving something.
That is what we need to improve on. Our people deserve better. You know, when you hear us saying we want to get into the space of the legislature,
yes,
because there's no way this thing need to be dealt with at a particular level.
yes,
and the watchdogs, you know, the portfolio committees and all, they need to make sure they do their work, because you cannot have the situation where it's becoming normal that you can't buy a certain level of cars.
Yeah.
You know, if you check in my yard, you'll see a lot of rims, because you become comfortable with a certain size of a tire, but you can't drive around here. You know, you go to LSRAS, when you come back, the rim is damaged, everything is damaged, and you don't know what to do.
And this happens to people every day.
So we are now saying we need a new generation, a new broom at all levels of government, so that we can correct these things.
Yeah.
Because these things that are becoming a new normal are problematic.
They are.
And if we are not careful, once we lose power, we'll never get it. I'm talking now as an ANC comrade. You can see Western Cape, we are struggling. We are not good at being opposition. You can see now we are not in charge of Gauteng. You know, if you look at the fact that we need alliance with so and so to be in charge, those things might be coming to us here. But you see, I'm in LIMPOPO. I always say to my comrades here, the people of Gauteng, when they lose Gauteng, the business people might come and try business here in LIMPOPO. But Rona here, once we lose everything, where will our business people go to? Because they can't go to Zimbabwe. It's worse than here. So it's better for us to, all of us, have a mentality. And if we can hold each other's hands, because what is needed first, that is why I will agree with the renewal and unity. We need to renew, you know, in the olden days, to tell you the honest fact, comrades who came from poor families, comrades who didn't have money for lunch, we will not know. You know, at our SASCO offices, we used to bring all our meals to one and eat with everyone. Some comrades who we didn't know will know that there is lunch in that office. You know, because most of us who were staying at the residence will go to the kitchen, bring food there and eat with everybody. We'll do that during lunch, we'll do that in the evening for those who were studying. But what happened? Now we are at each other's throats for what? And if you check what we are fighting for, it's not ours. In most instances, we're fighting for government pairs. I mean, in this province, a person like me, I gained notoriety for talking about VPS. And you know what made me to talk passionately? I come from, I told you I schooled at that, in that part. So when that bank was established, I knew, I used to see things there. You know, the women who were selling bananas and mangoes, around 2 o'clock every day, they will contribute 20 rand each. Go and put it in that bank. Now, a gentleman in an expensive suit, driving a very big car, staying in a posh house, went to steal that man.
Yeah.
You know, when I went to their offices in Toyando one evening, it was very cold. Comrades came to fetch me around after 12. I found old ladies sleeping on cat boxes, no blankets. You know, it was painful.
Yeah.
And there was no way. People think when you work in an premier's office, you are not a human being, you are not the comrade. And I remind the premier to say, Mren, me and you come from the same organization. Every year we pay 20 rand to remain there. So we can't be trying to put a blind eye. If your friends benefited, rather tell me that, and I will tell you, let them go and pay back the money. Because you found the old ladies there. At that point, they could only give you 1,000 rand per day. So they will have to come being 5. They get their 1,000 rand, they got 5,000 today. They have to sleep there. Because there are funerals happening. They must pay the undertakers and all those things. And they can't do any other thing. They have to withdraw and always make sure they have money. On Friday, others go and attend the funerals. Others are remaining there for Saturday. So it was a very painful thing.
It is.
That even myself today, I said, no, we'll rather fight, comrades.
Yeah. Now, Mr. Seloba, I think we kind of ran out of time. We're going to have to cut it here. But I feel like we still have to come for round 2 because, yes, you still have a lot. We still want to learn a lot of things from you. Next year, we are going to elections. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think African National Congress is what do?
Yeah. It also not.
Now you can take that call.
This comrade I can
yes.
attend to.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I thought you'd just take it.
My view is that we have a chance as the African National Congress. And our chance is going to be dependent on the final list of people that we are sending or bringing out. If we are going to have names of corrupt individuals, names of suspects on the list, I will tell you, it happened here in this province that we had a 23% voter turnout. So it's now, the survival of the organization is in our hands. And it's my wish that the African National Congress be given their last chance.
Yeah.
We really need their last chance because we can correct a lot of things. That we know what went wrong. We know what is going wrong.
Yes.
But we need a new team with the courage to do the corrections. If you keep on giving the same answers during corrections, you know what will happen.
Yeah, definitely. I'll fail. So normally what we do is I'll ask my guys like in the background to answer questions, but unfortunately we're out of one microphone here. Normally we'd have like the third microphone for them, but I'm just gonna take mine out and ask Troy to ask something. Do you have a question, Troy?
You can start. No questions.
No questions. You don't have a question? Yeah. I come this side. You can come closer. Come to this side, Troy. Ask a question, brother. Ask a question.
So my question would be, just for next year, do you guys have like certain plans worked out, like new improvements, or what's there for us next year?
Yeah, in fact, like I think many people from March next year will start forgetting about load shedding. I can tell you today, because it impacts on a lot of other things like job creations. We want to make sure that a lot of young people are employed. Provinces like Limpopo need to activate we have got enough land, but we are not channeling our young people into agricultural production. But most of it, you must understand, we need to educate our people. Because during our times, when you were not doing well at school, they will send you for agriculture. So now young people are afraid to take agriculture as a qualification because it used to be a field for dorms.
Oh, yeah.
They will say landbo because you can't do maths, you can't understand physics. So we need to re-educate our people to say food production is not for the unwise people. All of us, we need to eat, and we need to make sure that we've got creative people, we've got intelligent people into that space. So that is what government need to do. We need now to take our young people and put them on learnership into white-owned farms so that they learn and they understand how these things are produced so that we can then produce them ourselves. If you look now, we have claimed land, but what is happening? We're fighting each other. And the moment you start fighting each other, there is a problem. So that is why I'm saying we do have a plan to prioritize agriculture in a province like Limpopo. And I can tell you, once we do that, it will reciprocate in other provinces, and we will see a lot of young people gaining opportunities. Because as long as we are able to have some people working, then we can then go to agro-processing. Agro-processing, this is part of it.
Yes. The Jabu Archer. So.
Yes. Agro-processing also creates a lot of opportunities for many people. So you'll no longer be producing mango. You'll also be involved in the processes, in the export and then processes. Personally, I was in Spain the other day at the market in the morning. I saw a lot of fruits from this province.
And what you just said about this World Agricultural Day is that I always ask myself, like, post 1994, we had like College of Agriculture, remember that? But now after that, I don't know what happened to those colleges. Where they used to train people for agriculture. I don't really know what has been the reason for those colleges to be abolished or anything of that sort.
It was a political misunderstanding. Like I was telling you, that we thought, because of the level of education we were consuming at the time, we thought farming is for some other people. You see, we never thought you can be a farmer. To tell you the honest fact.
But honestly, I just need to say this thing to our people, or people who doesn't understand this thing. Because if there's any person who say farming is not for us, I don't know what do that person think. Because like in the first place, I want to say this thing. In the ancient time when white people never even knew there was Africa. When the first time came here, they found our people like strictly like agriculture period. Because our people only grew crops to feed themselves. And they had like livestock and those type of things. So it means that farming, in fact, is something that has been copied from us. So it doesn't really give me any logic for anyone to think that agriculture cannot be for us. I'm gonna be straight and say black people. So now I'm hoping, say, and I really do understand, and I can get your philosophy too, that if really what you're telling me right now, or what you told us today here on this podcast, it's authentic, or it's how it is. I promise you, I'm seeing the best leader ever. But maybe it might take long for you to get there, because people don't really like straight people. They don't like people who come up with the things. They look like they don't have like shika and those type of things. You get to radio stations, you find people who still want to be paid biolas and those type of things.
No,
that's what our country grew up to be.
It's a bad thing, but like, let me tell you, we deliberately forget. The criminals who were sent to South Africa, who arrived on the 6th of April, 1652.
Yes.
Vasco da Gama, Van Riebeeck, and the rest. You remember they were prisoners and they were sent here. What was their mission? To establish a refreshment station, to start gardens and make sure that their bosses get fresh vegetables whenever they pass through here. So why have we abandoned that? Because we were identified as an agricultural zone by the people there, the British East India Company. You know, so we have forgotten that thing. But again, on Bantu education, we started hammering. If you can look now in most of our farms, our guys from Zim are the ones doing a lot of work.
That are in farms,
You know, I have a friend who's in the fishery business. Is farming, is producing fish. But he can't guide people from around, which is a problem. We need to re-educate our people. What you must eat what you produce. Now, how much is X? Everybody has been complaining about eggs. Everybody is complaining about tomatoes and potatoes.
Exactly.
These things, you can always have them in your own yard. Until we re-educate ourselves and educate our young people that you can't always want to go and work at the mines. You have land, let's work on it. The Freedom Charter, in fact, stipulates that the land belongs to those who works on it. Not those
who are going to fold arms on it.
Not those who lives there. Those who works. You know. So if you are not going to work on land, at some point you risk losing a valuable asset. You know, I mean, very easy. Here in Limpopo, I can tell you, whether one goes to the legislature or not, we're going to continue making sure that this song we're singing, that we need young people involved in the strategic areas of food production, you know, and also taking them entirely on the value chain. Because when you produce maize, you're also involved in the milling. You're also involved in the wholesaling. That's business for life.
Let's carry it there, sir. Let's carry it there. And I just want to wish you the best of luck. That, the reason why we chose to come here as the podcast Kakapa Rona is because we see you as Kakapa, like the giant who is still even gonna show us more. Some of us have been listening to you talking over those years when you were still the spokesperson of the province of Limpopo. The types of wisdoms that you just spit out and go like, yo, this man is one of those men who are the future people of South Africa. So we want to say that we thank you so much for being who you are and for inspiring us. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. Hopefully, maybe soon we'll come for the second round, because I think we still have to sit down and have conversations and talk about the whole lot of these things. Thank you so much, sir.
Sure.
Thank you a lot. And one last thing before we go. Yo, what am I doing? I don't want to get paid. I want us to talk about Acha.
Yeah, I produce myself.
You,
and then not compete. I'm actually am I teaching more other things, because I come from the home of Acha.
Okay.
This is Limpopo.
Nice.
I think there's no province that produces mango better than us.
Yeah. That's
so true. Normally I will get in. I do a lot of other things on my own.
Oh yeah. Wow.
You know, when I'm relaxed, I do a lot of things. And Acha is very healthy.
Healthy, eh?
Yeah, it's very healthy. Yeah. It's one of the, remember, some people, you're eating fruits in a very different format. So it builds your system. It's a very great thing.
No, thank you so much.
Don't think Jabu are competing. I believe that black people normally in the market will complement each other.
Yes, sir. Now, by so doing, I felt, I wanted to packet the shall we taste and then Gore botsa gore na Jabu jwang gore fe feedback.
No, I'll give you feedback.
Yes, re botsa gore jwang mara ba Jabu, they're doing very good. That they even have they invented a archer paste. It's a spread without oil. You spread it like modi maburo, like, but it's an archerized. The last message that you can send to people out there, like, what's the last motivational words that you can give out to the people?
I will use a common phrase like, if you don't try,
I'm still on that kind. Okay.
If you don't try it, it will never happen. Yes.
Okay. If you don't try it, very short and sweet. Eh?
Yes.
If you don't try it, it will never happen. Hey, Troy, did you hear that? If you don't try it, you'll never.
It will never happen.
It will never happen. Yeah. Yes. That's very short. No, yeah, a short manifesto.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, whatever if you have a chance to manifesto, no,
you can't. I mean, now as an ANC, we can't promise people better life.
Exactly, because
for more than 20 years. For more than 20 years, we gave them better lives instead of better life.
Better lives. Ladies and gentlemen, by so doing, I would like to say from me, my name is Shane, but you can simply call me Overdose. This was Kakapa, Rona, the morning that they Phuti Seloba. Live for Jamana Bendo, more province in Yebutana, Eden of Africa, LIMPOPO. By so doing, I'd like to say big ups to my guys, Kenneth Rona, who is with us today. My brother Troy, who is here, is running his own channel as well, his own podcast.
Okay.
Yes, I'm sure they'll find the link at the bottom there of his podcast. Check on Troy on his podcast. He got like very beautiful conversations with the young people. They address many issues. And big ups as well to Mr. Kwena Sechaving. Thank you so much, Mr. Kwena Sechaving. SA Top Driving School, check it out as well. They got a website, SA Top Driving School. Check it out. Let me say hasta la vista, baby.
This show was proudly brought to you by Jabu Archer.